didn't know people were on here already. Hello, hello, hello. It's time for tea time with Lynn. Welcome, everyone. I'm waiting for my co-star of the evening, Miss Carmen Jones. So I just sent her a request and she should be on in a minute. Today, Carmen and I will be talking about the creative journey, but specifically about the leap of faith. And we'll also be talking about sheroes because it is international, well, it's Women's History Month, and yesterday was International Women's Day. So we look forward to talking about a couple of our sheroes as well. So if you have any questions for us, go ahead and hit the question mark at the bottom of your Instagram Live, and you can put your questions there. We'd love for you to engage with us. So go ahead and comment, engage with us. So go ahead and comment the comment
Sorry.
Carmen, what's up with all that music, girl?
Sorry.
Carmen's having a whole party. She brought the party. It's all good.
Yeah.
All up in my intro.
I am so sorry. I was like, oh yeah, my bad.
You're crazy.
I was grooving. You know how you have to have your after work groove?
Yes.
That's what I'm in. So yeah, I got some grooves going on. When you play that Michael Jackson radio.
Okay. On Pandora.
No, this is Amazon music.
Oh, gotcha. Did you turn off Alexa so she wouldn't be all in our conversation today?
Alexa. I'll turn her off because she does. It does. There's no gender. There's no gender.
Right. Alexa's gonna be like, yeah, and Alexa always in our business. It's all good. Except for when we see her, because when we asked her for that definition the other day, she was like, I don't know.
She stuttered. There's a connection. Wi-Fi wasn't acting right. Like, come on, sis.
She treated our lives.
It's Women's History Month. Like, why are you doing this?
I know. Hey, and hey to everybody that's joined us.
Hey, that's my birthday twin. What it do? Hey,
what? What's up to everyone else that has?
Hey, Chris. Hey, Lynn. Oh my God, it's about to be lit today.
I was like, Carmen is lit as hell today.
Right.
It's all good. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna do my intro so we can jump into it. Okay, so everybody that's joining us, welcome to Tea Time with Lynn. This series is designed for me to highlight my creative friends as we talk about our journey, how we self-care, purpose, love, and relationships. So this edition is the Carmen and Lynn edition. Carmen is my co-star every second Tuesdays. I always want to say Thursdays or Sundays, but every second Tuesdays, Carmen is on Tea Time with Lynn. And yeah, so if you have any questions, go ahead and drop your questions down in the little question section. If you have any comments while we're talking, definitely engage with us because we love we love to talk with you all. And this is a conversation between me and Carmen and everybody watching on the live. So welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Lynn Solar. If you do not know me, I am a singer, an actress, songwriter, event professional, event production professional, and all things creative. I just love creative things and growing in that. And again, today we're talking about the leap of faith and some of our sheroes. Whoop, you excited? Good. So Carmen, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are?
Oh my goodness. I am Carmen Jones, and I am an educator. I'm a performing artist, actress, dancer. Shoot. Oh man, I do a lot of stuff. I work with youth. I'm a youth facilitator for sure. And just I'm a professional fun person.
That's awesome. Carmen, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and get started. I know plot twist, but I want to write in the comments something to pin to the comments. So why don't you go ahead and take it away while I do that?
Okay. All right. So I know we wanted to bring up, this is Women's History Month. It's the day after International Women's History Month.
Yep. Oh no, did you freeze? Or did I freeze? Okay.
What happened?
I don't know. Somebody froze. You froze on my end, but who knows?
Oh, it just shut off. That's crazy.
I know.
All right.
But the devil is a lie. Go.
And the truth ain't in them. No, I was just saying, like, in commemoration of Women's History Month. Hey, Queen. In commemoration of Women's History Month, we definitely wanted to highlight some women who we felt were significant to us, who were memorable, who made a very strong impact in our lives. So I can start off. Usually I would think about some mentors who I felt like really spoke to me, or really played a strong hand in my upbringing. And I'm thinking of so many people, but I'm thinking of my mom. And I'm thinking of my mom because what we fail to realize is when we're younger, we're embarrassed about our moms. Like, they kiss us in public and everything, or they just don't do certain things that we feel like the cool mothers do and stuff like that. And so I just feel like I wasn't giving her that credit when I was growing up. But the older I get, I realize how important she is to me. I realize every little thing that she has done, or every little thing or big thing, any advice that she's ever giving me, or any type of discipline that she has, enforced on me mentally and spiritually. I'm not going to talk about the abuse, but I will. But what I am saying is she was very, very. Just teasing. I'm just teasing. Everybody know how Miss Wiggins is. But no, honestly, she has no, for real. Stop playing. No, she was very intentional, and she's such a brilliant person, and a creative person. And I didn't really get to really understand what that was until I got older. I just thought she was just a strict mom who just tried to keep me sheltered and everything. So I celebrate my mom. I celebrate her, for her wisdom, for her grace, for her patience with me. Oh, my mom is so patient. I did not realize I was this bad. And when I say bad, like, I'm a badass. But no, she means a lot to me. And just thinking about, like, everything she's done before I was born, and the staple that she has made in our community and schools, and just even with music, and how serious she is about it, and how well read she is, and how, like I said, everything and the sacrifices that she's done. Like, there's no mother like mine. So, I definitely just, I'm just thinking about her, and I just want to celebrate her for Women's History Month. And of course, so many others, of course. But yeah, that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So 2 things. 1, are you able to adjust your camera so we can see your whole face?
Oh, you know what? So it's a New York thing, right? New York does, like, if you take headshots in New York, they always cut off the head. And they cut off the head because that's what they do.
What? So what, on video you mean?
No, like, if you take pictures and everything like that, a lot of them is like, it's like this. Anyway, here I am.
So we can see the top of your head.
Yeah, I just dyed it yesterday. I'm trying to do something new. Anyway.
It's super cute. And so the second thing, I wanted to first pause and go back to what do we say a shero is, or what's your definition of shero? I got a little bit of it listening, but what's, like, do you have, like, a concrete one?
Woo. A shero is someone who's resilient, who makes sacrifice, who is, is mind over matter, hustler. She's passionate, and she knows what unconditional love is, and she continues to go. And she's passionate about those around her, and she always wants to feed spiritually, mentally, emotionally those around her, and cares about their growth, and protects. So that's what a shero is to me.
Ooh, I love that. So I will agree. I think somebody, Brandon, said he waved as my shero. That's so sweet.
Oh.
So before I add on to that, I just wanted to say, all you all that are watching, we want to hear from you too. We want to know who your sheroes are and why. So go ahead and drop that in the comments too. And might even be able to add somebody in to tell us on the video. So, ooh, exciting. So if you're interested in us and joining us for a quick second and popping in and telling us about your shero and why they're your shero, go ahead and send a request to join, and I'll look through that too while we're talking. I'm excited about that. So I was gonna say I definitely agree with you with sheros, and then I wanted to add on and even refine it a little bit more. For me is that like that also a shero with someone who specifically impacts you. So and for me, my sheros are people who are women who are working in their purpose and in their path that has some similarities to where I want to go and where I have been also. So someone that I can relate to their story and relate to their success and feel motivated by their successes too. So let's see, my shero. And I'm just picking one because we have like several sheros. I think Carmen. Okay, you're back. Okay. So with that being said, like there's so many women that impact us. We're only picking one today, which is like super hard. I thought I was gonna do a plot twist and Carmen and be like, well, actually,
I wasn't gonna go deep this time.
I was gonna be like, I think such and such my shero, cuz, but no. So with that being said, a lot of the women that are my friends or in my inner circles, they have like qualities about them that that I feel define a shero for me. But speaking of someone who has made an impact in my creative journey specifically was my line sister Ashley Walls, who has since passed, but she was very instrumental in the beginnings of me becoming an artist professionally, and she was on my team, and she was one of my really close friends, and she said something to me. It's a really funny story, and well, it's funny to me. It might not be funny to everybody, but one day, and we used to be neighbors, so we lived like maybe like 5 or 10 blocks away. Okay. And one day, me, her, and another, I think a ship, a line sister, we were in Ashley's car. Ashley was driving, and I was in the back seat, and it was about springtime. And Ashley's like, "Oh, I can't wait." She's like fixing her hair in the rearview mirror, right? And she's like, I can't wait till the weather gets warm enough, and I'm gonna just take a walk. And back then, I wasn't taking walks. Then I'm just like, a walk. So I said, I'm thinking like a walk is fun for you. Like, I don't know, like the way she set it up was like she was about to like, you know, be at a party or something. She was like, "Hey, we can just take walks." I said, "What?" And she said, all of a sudden, she snapped on me, and it was hilarious. She was like, "Bitch, enjoy life," and I was like. And then, of course, I snapped back in a funny way. And I was like, "Well, excuse me, if I don't think taking a walk is enjoying life, okay?" But all that to say, I carry that with me because as someone who has like been very structured before having a more creative lifestyle, having all that structure makes things kind of unfun, makes things have a lot of pressure, you know, and like, and then it's like if you have like a schedule or something and you kind of late on your schedule, then it's like, oh my God, it's anxiety inducing because you're thinking you're late and and you're not on time, and if you don't do this thing, then your blessing not gonna come. So I carry that with me a lot. Like, bitch, enjoy life. Like, you know, even in the serious things, like those things, you know, they're fleeting just as much as the good things. But I never want to look back and say I didn't enjoy the journey because I was too stressed out about things that didn't even matter. So, so that's my shero that I'm highlighting today. And again, if anybody has any sheros that are watching, go ahead and let us know who your sheros are too.
You know what that reminds me of? And I don't know if it's a segue, and I'm not trying to segue. But I know that I declared some years ago, especially before I moved here, that I don't want to live in shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And I'm so like, and I really lean on that because, you know, there's so much life to us and there's just so much life to live and so many moments that we don't live in or even acknowledge that are in front of us because we're always on our phone or always, we know we're always distracted. And it's like, you have the time now, like, and you see what happens to other people when they make certain choices, and there's no judgment against it. But it's like you learn from the people around you, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to be more daring. I'm going to take this chance. We live in boxes. Like I said, I was kind of sheltered a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you know, it happens. So
Yeah.
I just always I don't want to live with any regrets. I want to, you know, leave this earth empty.
Yes.
And, you know, it just fully empty. And just acknowledging that God, like, you know, I used all the gifts that you have. And that's a whole daily step. But yeah.
I love that. So I love that topic. I love like having to consider she roles. Oh, the other thing I wanted to highlight, I forgot about why we're our own she roles. So yeah, how can I forget? That's my thing. So
with an old emoji.
I do have my own set of emojis, by the way, but I'll share that with you later.
That is an amazing skill.
So one thing for me in my journey was the fact that when I first got started with the music and the acting in the professional realm, there was an element of nobody else is doing this. How do I do this? It's weird when you're the only one in your immediate circle or even your like immediate network doing something that's different, like a different profession, a different lifestyle, solo travel, you know, like anything that's different from the majority can feel very heavy and you can carry lots of doubt, and then you also don't have like a lot of people to look up to as you figure out the path, and you have to create your own path. So for me, in the creation of my own path, what I found is that I had to become my own superhero. I had to become the cheerleader. Like when it was nobody to text me and say, good luck on that audition or good luck on that studio session or how's your creative writing going or how's your process going, I had to do that for myself. Like I had to be like, I'm enough. I'm about to get this thing. You know, like I had to pretend to be brave. Like I had to fake it till I made it, until I became that person that was just automatically like, oh yeah, this is nothing, like this is what I do. So like for me, I want to encourage everyone that is watching either now on the live or on the replay that there are elements about yourself that make you a shero as well. So like turn inward, and I love to hear if there's anything in you, like any quality that you love about yourself that could be considered something that makes you your own shero. So I became my own best friend. I became the friend that I always wish I had and didn't have like growing up. I became the motivator, the cheerleader. I became my biggest fan. And I'm still working on that, but I'm getting better at it. But you have to start with yourself first, I think.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I just want to like piggyback just a little bit, work terms, but like something that I did a meditation yesterday, and it was talking about think about the different characters that you have. What is one character that you want to heighten today? And just focus on that one character and let that character illuminate throughout the day. And that's something that you want to work on or brush up on or something. And when you said that, it's like when you said that, it made me think about that. And like I had a really smooth day yesterday. Like it was groovy. And and I think it was groovy because I had an intention about it. But thinking about myself and embracing myself, we don't, you know, even though you're aware of these things that you have, these gifts and these talents and everything, sometimes you're not thinking about it in the midst. Right. And then when somebody points it out, you're like, what? You know, I know I have those moments. So yeah.
So what's your really shero quality, Carmen?
My what?
Your shero quality. What
what's
your part about yourself that makes you your own shero?
Man, I don't know. I think I'll just say like my energy.
Okay.
And I know it's such a common thing to say and it's kind of trite or whatever, but no, I truly, I live by that and I honor that.
Yeah.
And I say that because I remember back in high school, I was not the cutest. I mean, I was cute, but it was just like I never stood out.
Yeah.
And I had like acne and everything like that. So, you know, I was always told I had a good personality.
Ooh.
And my personality will always win, but I was never always, the elders told me I was beautiful and gorgeous. Always the elders, but like my friends and my peers, it was like, you got a great personality. And so, you know, it made me feel a certain kind of way and everything. But, you know, as I got older, I realized that my personality and my energy is what engages me, is what connects me, and it what's, you know, enlarges things that are even around me. I ain't gonna go too deep now because this could be a sermon and I can hold you. I will hold you. So just letting that trickle, you know, through my brain a lot. You know, as a teenager, like I said, you want to be accepted. You want to be seen as beautiful. You want someone to tell you that you're beautiful. You want guys to be at you like they approach all the other girls and everything. And you know, that wasn't a thing. So I had to learn to accept it. I had to adjust to it. And I remember my mother, and I was self-conscious about my body too. And I remember my mom said, you were created a certain kind of way. You know, change what you can, and if you can't, you gotta accept it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think about that as I get older and how those pretty people, they have dull personalities, and so whoever they, you know, are around, it's a temporary thing. It's very quick. Yeah. And I have friends, you know, especially since social media, I have friends that I've connected from elementary school stuff that I talk to, that, you know, we do work together and everything. And I know it's because of my energy. I know it's because of my personality, and I'm aware of it more so, you know, now than I did before, than I ever gave it credit for. Yeah. But, you know, I definitely say that.
I love that, man. I mean,
thank you.
I think that's awesome. Like, I mean, energy is definitely like the driver of things, you know, like you can be the best artist, but if you're not connecting with people, and if, like you said, you got dull energy, like who wants to work with you? Like,
you're whack, man. Get your energy together.
I really, really love that. And I think that's something that we have in common too. Like, hit solar power.
Oh, Chris, I wasn't putting anyone down. just those who have the dull person. I'm just calling it out. It's not putting it down. If you take it negatively, you know, that's on you. But I'm just pointing out something. I got dull moments too. Yeah. We're human. It's okay.
I also think of that Kanye West lyric, the prettiest people say the ugliest things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
the people highest up got the lowest self-esteem.
Yeah. And I mean, it kind of lends to like the thing that people say about you the most. Like, for instance, you said that people were talking about your personality and your energy the most, and that was like the most thing that stood out. And then the same for like pretty people. Like, if you're being called pretty and beautiful all the time by your looks, then I'm sure there's a lot of people that aren't having to get to know you, your personal self, because you don't have to do that work in order to get attention, or not even in order to get attention, but like that's not the thing that stands out. And so you kind of absorb the things that people call you when you're young and impressionable and in your formative years. It matters what people say to you as you are growing. So yeah. Okay, you ready for a leap of faith?
Okay, let's talk about this leap of faith.
This is good. Now, before you get started, I was getting dressed, right? And I was thinking, you know what? Like, I know, okay, we're really going to have to just really laser focus in on leap of faith, because I think leap of faith is so important to the creative journey. And I know both you and I have pretty interesting stories when it comes to leaps of faith. So that's where we're going to focus on in our journey part of it. And hopefully we'll get to add a little bit more, but I'm sure that people will get to a lot to know, get to know a lot about our journeys by us talking about leap of faith. So I'm excited. Let's go.
All right, let's get this. So it started when I was a little baby. No, I'm just playing. So seriously, I'm silly, y'all. But you know, so I've been I went to school for theater, and you know, after I finished school, I just started doing workshops and doing, you know, going to auditions here and there in Chicago and stuff. But I just really started teaching. Like, I really became, you know, I started teaching theater in different places and everything like that. And that just became my main focus, working with youth at church, working with youth at different schools and everything. That's always been a thing. And then my mentor who passed, she brought me on to this nonprofit, and I started, you know, working with youth extensively, you know, teaching theater and poetry and stuff like that. And I realized, you know, as time went on, man, I really want to be an actress. What am I doing? Why am I playing? Why is making money more important and more significant than doing what I want to do? But I'll even say this, the reason why I was always in these teaching positions is because someone always suggested, oh, you'll be a really good teacher here. Oh, we need a theater teacher there. Yeah. Or even when it came to at church, like, I used to teach liturgical dance, and then as part of it is because I was taking ballet lessons and everything. Okay. So it's like, oh, she knows how to dance. All right, we need you to teach dance here and teach dance here. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, I never saw myself as that, but okay, I'll figure it out. Right. So that's what I ended up doing. So I'm saying that to say that I've been fitting other people's criteria. I've been doing jobs for other people. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I was living someone else's vision of my life, right? So because of that, I got frustrated after a while. I'm a suppressor. I don't speak out as much, and I don't know if that's for a whole nother story. But even though I have, you know, I could be, I have a, I can't think of the word. I'm an extrovert. So because I'm very outgoing, people, you know, think like, oh, she's doing what she wants. She's very deliberate and everything. And I wasn't. A lot of times it's just like, oh, if you have this opinion of me, if you really see this, okay, I'll do it. I got to a point where I was tired. I have a voice. I know what I want to do, and I should do it. And there's like, what's stopping me? What's holding me back? Me. And I didn't realize that till I was working in this mentoring program that, you know, this non-for-profit, you know, because I'm mentoring girls like, man, over 300 girls a year. I'm mentoring them, and I'm teaching them all these life skills and about empowerment and loving yourself and accepting your father who didn't love you the way you're supposed to, and accepting your mom. Like, I'm feeding and I'm pouring into these young ladies all this advice that, first of all, I should have been following myself, but really following myself. So because of that, I really started to hear myself. Yeah. You know how, like, you know how when you're giving someone advice and you realize, you know what, I'm speaking to myself too. I was saying that a lot. Yep. I was saying that a whole lot until I really heard myself. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, I made a decision that, you know what, forget it. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. Let me just go ahead and do it, and then let's see what happens. Yeah. And I remember I told my mom, I told her once, and then she kind of gave me all these things like, okay, make sure you save up this amount of money, make sure you do this research, make sure you do, like, she had all these things, but it's kind of like, it was like okay, just do this. So I think she was just saying something. Right. So, it was really heavy on me, and I was telling people here and there, and they're always like, okay, when you move into New York, like, you always get that. Yeah. So, right, it's gotta be. What ended up happening? So, right, so I started telling my mentor, I was telling her, like, yeah, I'm thinking about moving to New York. She was like, okay, well, I'm talking about moving to California, so let's do this. I'm like, okay, all right, so I'm really doing this. So it had to be real for me. I was like, I really want to sharpen up on my voice. Like, I know how to sing, but like, let me get some confidence in that. So I put myself in voice lessons at the church. And it was super cheap with a super duper professional. So it was amazing. And so as I was, taking these voice lessons, we had little concerts here and there. My confidence is growing, but then I'm just like, well, why am I really getting voice lessons? Maybe I should do a one-woman show. Yeah. Oh my God, a one-woman show. Oh my God, me by myself. I'm used to telling people what to do or being on stage with other people. Right. But I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm just going to I'm going to do it. And another reason why I decided to do it was because in Chicago, when it comes to acting and performing, it's very cliquish. Right. People know who they know and they marry them, like they're stuck with them. So sometimes if you're not I know people, but it's like, there's other people too. Right. So I wasn't getting as many parts or anything. And I was I was a little discouraged. I'm like, what, am I good enough? I know I'm good. Like, I just know I am. But for some reason, it's not really happening. But I also don't really feel as motivated. And ironically, every year, like, I would travel with my mom or my friends. I was just traveling to New York, just visiting anyway. So every time I came to New York, I'm like, man, this feels like home. This feels like home. So anyway, so
Wait, Carmen,
okay.
I won't cut you off, but I want to make sure that I'm clear. When you had your first idea about the one woman show, you were still in Chicago. You had not left yet. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was saying I was visiting before I moved. Right. Sorry about that. So with me structuring, so with me going to this, you know, preparing for this one woman show, and I'm going to these rehearsals and everything like that, and I'm setting things up. I'm like, oh, I forgot to say this. While I was getting voice lessons, a friend from college hit me up, and she was like, hey, we're doing this summer thing for Broadway in Chicago, and, you know, I need some singers or whatever. So I'm like, okay, bet.
Right.
So we met up, and it was like a group of different women from, you know, however she knew them, right. We all met. So there's this one woman, she always talks about, like, yeah, you know, I got my friend, he's best friends with Oprah Winfrey and Maya Angelou. Yeah, my friend, and she used to sing backup for Aretha Franklin. Yeah. So she's just talking about all these celebrities she knows and everything like that. So she's always talking about, yeah, my friend in New York, blah, 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 George Faison. I'm like, okay, okay. So anyway, as I'm preparing for this one woman show, that's in November, my birthday's in October, and I'm like, I need to go to New York. I just need to see what it's like. I'm going to get an Airbnb, and I'm just going to stay there for a week, and I'm just going to see what it's like. I don't know. My father's best friend has a daughter who's been living in New York for years. I have not seen her since I was 6 years old. I knew she was in New York. I got her number, and I reached out to her. I was like, hey, I'm going to be in New York for about a week or so. Can we meet up and everything like that? She was like, all right, cool. And then I'm sorry, the singing opportunity that I had when I met up with the woman who was always talking about this, you know, George Faison that she knew and everything like that. I thought to reach out to her, just to see if she could connect me with him and everything. So she gave me his cell phone number, and she told me to reach out to him. So I called him and told him I was coming to New York, if we could meet up. He was like, sure, of course. All right. So I came in October. I had me a little Airbnb, sleeping on a couch, $30, met some people from around the world in there. It was a very cool experience. Yes. But as I'm walking around and everything, I meet up with my friend, my dad's best friend's daughter. I meet up with her, and she kind of like shows me around the area and everything like that. And so then, it was just like, okay, oh my God, this is Harlem, this is cool. And then I set up a meeting with George Faison. So I go to the firehouse, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm looking at all these pictures and everything. He has pictures with Oprah Winfrey, with Maya Angelou, with Cicely Sykes. He has all these icons. I was like, yo, he's the real deal. So I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about moving to New York, and, I'm scared. I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah. So he was just like, well, New York is hard. It's difficult. And, if you don't know the right people, then, it's going to be hard to survive and everything. I was like, right. So then as I was there, he had some women coming, being there. I guess they had a rehearsal or something. So as we were meeting, they were talking about this album release that they were that they were doing. So he was like, you're a performer, right? I was like, yeah, I do spoken word and everything like that. He was like, okay, well, let's see some of your stuff then. I'm like, all right, bet. Let me know which one y'all like or whatever. So the women come in. They were there for rehearsal, but since I was there, I was, going to put on a little show. So I do a poem or whatever. They like, damn, okay, what else you got? So then I do another one. Oh. Yeah. So basically, Chicago been holding you back. Ooh. Like you need to just spread your wings. You need to be free. You're trying to be free. Yeah. I was like, yeah. So they are like, well, we're actually doing a show in November, and so we wanted to put some poem pieces in it anyway. Do you think this poem will fit with this? And so then as they're listening to some of the stuff that I'm doing, they're like, oh, this fits with this song. So they're really putting this show together like in real time while I'm here. Like, can you stay a little later? Sure. All right, cool, bet. So then they're like, yeah, it's going to be like November 6th or something. So I was like, oh man, I gotta work. I gotta work on Friday.
Yeah.
And so one of the ladies, she pulled me to the side, pulled me to the side. She was like, sis, look, I know you're talking about moving to New York and everything like that. I hear you. Don't let your job be the reason why you missed up on this opportunity. Like, you about to perform in New York. But in my head, I'm like, well, I did a tour in New York before. Like, I performed here before. But you're right. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, all right. I never called off work. I'm not that person. Like, I'm very dedicated to work. I'm not just gonna call out. I don't like that. So it was hard. It was hard to even think like that. But I was like, all right, you're right. You know, I can miss a day. Everything is not on me.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So then they started talking about like, well, we'll let you know about the pricing of like the flight and all this other stuff. So, you know, long story short, they ended up paying for my flight. But then they're like, oh, it may not be a paid gig, but you know, I'm like, shit. I mean, I could just come and stay. I had another friend who was staying here or whatever. We used to do a podcast together in Chicago. So he let me stay at his place and everything. So came and did the show. Show was amazing. Like, it was so good. And then people were out there asking for autographs. It was really crazy. So all this happened. That was in November. Sorry. So all that happened in November. But then it confirmed for me, maybe this is where I need to be. Maybe this is where I need to be or whatever. So as I'm starting to look at certain things, like I was working at UPS, and UPS allowed me to do an education transfer. And so to do an education transfer, I had to be enrolled in a school. So I was trying to see if I'm enrolled in a school, I need an address. So the friend who's connected to my dad or whatever, I was like, I don't have an address yet, but like, can I just use yours just to get mail there or whatever, and I'll come and look for a place. She was like, oh, my landlord got a room available. I was like, what? She was like, yeah. I'm like, how much is it? She was like, $400, everything all included. What? In New York? $400? Baby, if God didn't say yes then, I don't know when God was going to say yes. I did. So anyway, she told me about that. And then I had my one woman show, which was November 15th. And leading up into the one woman show, I was always scared. I always wanted to quit, but I'm always thinking about, look, don't live in shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Just do it. Like, don't regret not doing it. And now you got so many people who are supporting you. Don't let them down, and don't let yourself down. Right. And so doing that, you know, leading up into it, the performance in New York happened, then my one woman show happened, and it was standing room. And the thing is, I was my own family was, certain family members were just like, well, it may not sell out. A lot of people may not be there. It's late. It's way up north. There's no parking. So, thinking about what my one woman show was going to look like and the kind of support, I had no idea what was going to happen, but it was standing room, and it was so much love and support. So that confirmed, all right, Carmen, there is something big in you that you have to, investigate on. Yeah. So when I did that, and then I had a friend for Christmas.
Wait, pause.
Okay.
Okay. So just to make sure that we're clear.
Okay.
You were still in Chicago. You were visiting New York. You ended up going back to Chicago, and they paid for your flight for this opportunity for you to be.
Yes, I'm all over the place.
You ended up calling off work in Chicago, your Chicago
I did.
job, and she did this thing. And then the one woman show was on the 15th back in Chicago.
Yes.
Damn. Okay. I want to make
Thank you.
That we clear.
Okay. Sorry. It's a lot of aha moments, and I get excited. So thank you for bringing me back, sis. You got me. Wait, all right. So now, where am I?
Wait, I ain't ready. So for those of you that have just joined, or after we got started, my name is Lynn Solar, and my co-star today is Carmen Jones, and we're talking about Leap of Faith in regards to our creative journey. So if you have any questions about Leap of Faith, like maybe you're on here and you're thinking, oh man, I really been thinking about doing this thing, and you have questions about it, and what does it feel like? What does it look like? How do you know? And whatever it is, we want this to be a conversation between you all and us. So totally drop your comments, and if you have any questions for us, go ahead and hit that question button, and we'll be sure to answer. So we're excited that you're here. Welcome. And I already see a couple, a new comment. We came in there, so that must be a friend or a family.
What they say? Oh, they came to my show?
to that one woman show.
Oh my God.
And okay, Carmen, so go ahead.
DD.
I just wanted to clarify because I know you also did a New York one woman show, and so Auntie Lynn was confused, and I want to make sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to bring it back. So yeah, okay. The first New York show with the group that was in November. Yeah, I called off work and then I came and did it. The reviews were really great. And then I came home and then I ended up doing my show, which gave me, the confidence and everything that I needed. A friend of mine who just pours into me and I really appreciate him. He got me a ticket to see Gin Gang with Cicely Tyson and James Earl Jones for January 9th. What he did not know was I still didn't buy my one-way ticket yet. Okay. And so when I got that ticket, I was like, oh, shoot, I got to be in New York by this date. So let me just get my one-way ticket. And that's just like, I just feel like that's always a big thing for people when you get that one-way ticket. So I purchased it. I literally purchased it that night. I think it was like Christmas Eve or something like that. I purchased it that night to be in New York. And so, actually, yeah. So that happened. Yeah, I moved after, I connected with my dad's friend's daughter. She told me about, this room that was available. It didn't even matter to me what it looked like, but I know it should matter. But I will say this, this young lady, she's very, very particular, and she's very meticulous. So she's not going to stay in a rinky-dink place. So it's like, because she's really, really picky, I trust her judgment. Yes. To a certain degree. Right. No, not like that. No, I love it. That's my girl. That's my girl. So, but I mean, she's what my mom calls, identify as angels. Yes. She's one of my angels, just like the other people, George Faison and, Jackie, like all these people, they're my angels because they were definitely, very instrumental in my journey that I'm still on. But so moving here and everything and, seeing the play, of course, being inspired by these infamous people, yes. James Earl Jones and Cicely Tyson on stage for 2 hours. Yes. What? Amazing. It was amazing. I cried. I did cry. Yeah, after that, like I said, the friend that I stayed with when I first visited, I hung out with. Anyway, long story short, he had furniture. He was moving. Okay. And so he was like, Carmen, I know you just moved here or whatever. I got some furniture. I'll sell it all to you for like $150. I'm like, whoa. What? So I had this little nice, cheap, affordable room to stay in. And then I had this affordable furniture. So I'm like, okay, bet. Now I got how am I going to make this money? Yeah. So I didn't have my Wi-Fi or anything yet. I just had a little bit of money saved up. I found a coffee house, just, researching jobs, just going hard, researching job on Backstage, NYC Casting, like all these places and everything. And, I ended up like getting a lot of work. So I got some performing work, then I got some work at the observatory. I got some work working at National Black Theater. So I just started, working, and it got real for me. Yeah. There was this confidence that I had that I didn't even think I had. Yeah. And I just want to say, like, making this move and taking this leap of faith, like, it was so mental for me. It's like the action itself, it took probably like 2 minutes to book this flight, to look for this. Well, some of the stuff took 2 minutes. A lot of stuff takes work and research. Yeah. But what I am saying is, throughout this whole journey, the reason why this journey was so important to me is because it was one of the things I always said I wanted to do. And even though I had people who used to talk about me or, say that I couldn't do it, it was important that I proved to myself that I could do it. The reason why I put myself in voice classes to begin with was I knew I had a voice, but people, it's like, there were some people who were just like, man, you really got this voice. And you got other people who are very critical, who are in my family, who I'm very close with, where it's just like, Carm, come on, Carm, like, just stop. Your voice is shrill. You're always sharp. So, but even when I was younger, you know, I used to be teased just because I play too much.
Yeah.
I do play a lot. So being aware of that, I'm hearing those voices telling me that I can't do something.
Yeah.
And I know that I have something in me. So it really took for me to believe in myself and say, you know what? You know, I got this. Like, I really do have this. Let me invest in it. You know, nobody else is going to do it. It's me. It's my life. I got to build on it. I got to see where I'm going to go with this. If I don't make it, okay, at least I actually tried and I put it out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I made an effort. I can't say, you know, I didn't make it. I wasn't successful if I didn't do everything that I needed to do. And I apply that to a lot of different situations sometimes when it comes to a certain outcome. Maybe the outcome is not the best. It's like, did you do your part? Did you fully show up and do everything that you know that you were supposed to do? And if the answer is no, it's like, all right, do that and go hard, go super hard, and so you don't have anything left in you. Because now it's not about you. You know, I have a goddaughter who, you know, who loves to sing and she wants to be a songwriter. You know, I want to show her that there's a path for that. Yeah. There's a path for someone who looks like you that you're connected with. And then there are people like at church and, you know, all the young ladies that I've mentored, you know, through the years. It's like I'm doing it for them too, letting you know that this girl from the west side of Chicago by Rockwell Projects or whatever can be successful, you know, wherever she goes. So just creating my own story and my own journey, it was really important to do that. And of course, I could go on for days just about whatever stood out to me and whatever was important in my journey. But that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Cool.
It's a lot more, but that's it in a nutshell, though.
Okay. So I do have lots of notes, but one thing that's my first thought was, I know I've heard your leap of faith. We've talked about it often over the course of a few years, but I'm like just now realizing how similar our journeys are when it comes to, like, you know, I too lacked self-confidence. I too had body image things growing up. Like, I too had to, like, combat the negative voices that I heard from my family members. I too just had like these like similar moments to you. And I'm just like, wow, like at one point I was gonna be like, Carmen, this is my story. Like, you are copyrighted. But yeah, no, thank you for sharing. I love that. So I'll share a little bit about mine. I'm just gonna start it at the moment where I knew that I had to change course and change path. So and then I'll jump from that to the leap of faith. So for me, and before I continue, hello to everybody that's just joining Tea Time with Lynn and Carmen. Thank you for some of your comments. If you have any questions for us in regards to the leap of faith, go ahead and add your questions. Say what's up. If you have any comments about some of the things that we're talking about, definitely share those because we want to hear them. So, okay, so.
Oh, can we also tell them to share who your shero is?
Yes.
Please do not forget. Yes. Those sheroes are important. Okay.
In honor of Women's History Month, please share with us who your sheroes are. And one more thing, if you have some friends that you know should be watching this live, or you think like they might be interested in this, share that with about 3 or 5 of your friends. Okay. All right. Okay. So, I started my creative journey because I wasn't happy with the path that I was on. And I was doing jobs. I also had been an educator. I got this whole degree in early childhood education. And as I was wrapping up that degree, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this.
Wow.
So, but again, like the jobs that I've had traditionally before that were like, they were all jobs where people said, oh, you're good with kids. Oh, you're good here. Oh, you should do this. You should do this. And it was like, okay, great. I'll go do that thing. But I guess like in those moments, like there was no one ever pointed out the fact that you have a voice in choosing that too. And it's primarily because We honor our mentors. We honor our family members. We honor the people that we think know us best. But in that, we disregard the fact that we know ourselves better than anybody else. And we know what our heart is saying. And so for a long time, my heart was saying, we don't want to do this. The anxiety was saying, I don't want to do this. Having to go to this job that I hated, like, that was my spirit and my body saying, I don't want to do this. But also not having someone like the angels that you pointed out to say, hey, let me intervene for you. And so for me, that was another one of my line sisters who was like, you know what, you're always unhappy. And
wow.
at that point, I didn't even realize that there was another way of living, you know, like, everybody hates their job to some extent, you know, everybody's like, I don't want to clock in or whatever, but she was like, you're unhappy all the time. What's that one thing that you could do for the rest of your life that you would never feel this way, like you will always feel happy and you know, just do that thing? And so from that, we started to create this plan. So before I forget, I want to go ahead and comment and talk about and think about the connection here that, Carmen, you mentioned something about preparing and investing. And that's the thing about the leap of faith. Like, when you want to do something, there's a level of personal investment that you must do in order to take that leap of faith. There's a level of training and personal growth and mindset that must occur within you to push you and propel you in this leap of faith. So that's one thing that had been on my mind too, one of my notes. So the other thing though is, while I started to create my my creative career, I was still working a full-time job. And I ended up, I was a substitute teacher, but then it was like at night I was working on this music career. And then after being a substitute teacher, I ended up working at the Museum of Science and Industry. I believe that got mentioned last week. I think, was it last week when Laura Ills was on? I think so. So my friend Laura Ills was on last week, and we talked about, him and I both worked at a museum together. And there I was still working in education, but I was fulfilling a purpose that I knew that I had within the education realm. So it still wasn't like I was working where I was unhappy. But once my assignment was up, I tried to stay. And as I tried to stay, it was uncomfortable. It was an ugly situation, and had some issues with, you know, my manager, and, you know, I had always had issues with a coworker of mine, which I felt was like, that was like kind of like that everyday reminder, like, don't stay there.
Right.
Fulfill this thing, but don't stay there.
Right.
But the leap of faith, like, the universe had to apply heavy pressure on me before I actually took the leap and said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I got to go. So all that to say, like, leaps of faith happen in different ways. For some of us, it's very, like, maybe like easy and supportive, but it's still like there's a challenge somewhere in the process. For some of us, we literally, like, the type of person you are, like, you have to be pushed out that thing. So I had gotten comfortable with having a consistent paycheck, knowing what my days look like, because I know the office, you know, being there for 5 years, you know what to expect every day, you know, it's predictable. But the moment that I had to leave, it literally was like this big blow up. It was like, and I'm not that type of person that blows up at work. Like, that ain't Lynn's whole life.
You're stepping out of character.
Like, it was like, manager was like this, and coworker was like this, and it was just all of this swarming, and me crying and being pissed and feeling very much like wanting to be physical with people. That ain't me either. I ain't never been in a fight. Okay?
Yeah. You don't scrap? Oh, okay.
I ain't never scrapped, but I was gonna scrap. Like, I ain't never scrapped, but I was gonna scrap that day.
But I ain't never scared. I ain't never scrapped, but I ain't never scared. Yes.
Right. But that's how real it got. And it was a very emotional time for me. It was a very stressful time. It was a very confusing time, and so I just wanted to point out that a lot of times in our leap of faith, we got to make the step, and
Whew.
it's not gonna be, in my experience at least, I've had many leaps of faith, but it's going to feel confusing. But if you tap in and get grounded and ask the right questions, you'll get the right answers. So for me, my leap of faith was very, very spiritual. It was like heavy on the spiritual. And I ended up going home and I said, okay, God, I'm going to be real quiet about this. Like I spent the weekend like, I need to hear from you. Are you telling me to quit my job? Now, before I say this, I'm not advocating for people to leave their job willy-nilly, okay? But I'm advocating for you to ask the right questions and do the spirit work and work towards what your plan is. For me, I believe that I received pressure because I had gotten lazy and comfortable. And I stopped pursuing my dream at the level that I was supposed to pursue it. And my job was taking my energy level to the point where I couldn't even work on my dream if I wanted to.
Oh, Jesus.
So,
yeah.
And so that's why I put my hands up when you said that the lady said, don't let your job, what'd she say? Tell me those words.
Don't let your job hold you back from something that you really want to do.
It still gives me shivers when you say it again, because somehow we let our jobs be the authority on how we're supposed to live and be and do. And I know it's just how we grew up in the society and the pressure, but I'm so thankful that the creative movement, or just the movement in life in general, like the shifts that are occurring are so much more pro creative life, creative living, creative thoughts, so welcoming to that. We still have a ways to go, but I'm glad that that's the direction that the shifts are making. But if you let it, yep.
Oh, go ahead. Finish your last point.
If you let it, distractions come in things that are very common to you because it gets to you quicker. Like distractions come in your environment, your job, the people, your close friends that might be holding you back or holding you to a certain box, like you mentioned boxes. But yeah, like you have to know when something is no longer helping you, but is hindering you. What were you gonna say?
That is really good. Now I was thinking about I think one of the pastors from the church said this, but like a leap of faith does not have common sense. Like it's not going to make sense at all, and it's going to come. It just comes from just being fed up. But the thing is, you don't want to keep waiting until you're so upset to do it. But yeah, and it's it's really a mindset of focus. And when you're done, we could, like I just thought about like something else, just like how I prepare myself mentally. It wasn't just, oh, I'm going to do this because I've been talking about it for 10 years. But when you're finished, I want to tap into the mental part.
Yeah. I love that. And Chris said, appreciate that perspective. So let me tell you, so these particular moments where I was like, okay, now normally in the past, I've been like, even though like I was an adult, I'm like 20, 25, 27 or something. No, 20, 28 or whatever, 28-ish. My mom is still that person that you go and you be like, hey, so I'm thinking about quitting my job. And it's more so like for permission, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to help me when I can't pay the bills, type of thing. What do you think? Knowing darn well, like, my mom's from a whole different generation. Like,
oh yeah, girl. Our moms, that's baby with their children of the baby boomers.
Yes.
Their mindset is different. Yes. It's totally different.
Right, and it ain't never gonna be like a sure. Like, sure gonna quit. Some people, some boomers, yes, but for the most part, boomers are like, But my mom, also to that though, my mom is very supportive. Like, I've not made that phone call to her when it wasn't important, like when it wasn't at 911. And so that's one thing I know, like my mom has always known that those phone calls are 911, and she's always supported me because she knows that I am at the breaking point. And so this time I decided not to call my mom. And I went home that Friday. It happened on a Friday, I think. I even called my director. Like, my director wasn't in the office that day, and I called him crying like, like, this is a mess. it was crazy, like crocodile tears. Okay, and so I go home and I sat in the quiet. I went in my office and I sat on the couch in the dark. I don't even remember eating. And I have these moments where, like, when I know a shift is about to happen in my life, I don't like a lot of noise. And so it's just like my body, like, even if I tried to turn on music or TV, it's like, you know how like things sound busy? It was like, so I went home and I was like scrolling through social media. And my artist coach at the time was like, I had an artist coach. She was like, she had coached me previously on artist entrepreneurship. And I passed by one of her, like, it was like a video or something that she posted on Facebook, and it was about jumping, and that when it's time, the universe blows up parts of your life to force you to jump. And I was like, oh wow, like I watched the thing and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. Scroll down, the next post right after that was a video of Steve Harvey. Like, the next post, Steve Harvey was talking about when you jump and you got this parachute, like, he's this parachute thing.
I already know this one.
I can't even remember the exact words that he was saying. And I was just like, okay, universe, I hear you. Like, okay, God. Because I knew, like, that was like a clear as day, like, heart moment, like, hello, this is the time. Yeah. Jump. Yes. And when you open that parachute, there's going to be different things that catch you as you are leaping, but you got to do the leap. And I was just so freaking scared because I own a home, y'all. Like, I didn't have savings to be like, yeah, I can pay the mortgage next month. Like, no. Like, I knew that for my mental sanity, I needed to go. And this was the universe, and this was God giving me permission to take the leap, and him telling me, I'm going to take care of you when you take this leap. You are okay. And I got up out that couch and I started writing my resignation letter. And then that next Monday, I took it to work. Still didn't tell my mom about this, right? Like, I literally went the whole 2 weeks of preparing to leave without telling my mom, because then I didn't know how to. It was just like, right, I really just resigned and didn't tell nobody. But for me, it was just a spiritual encounter with the leap. And once I'm gonna let you like jump in a minute, but what I do want to tackle, Carmen, is kind of like what happens after you do that leap, because like the leap is kind of like, yes, that's a step, but it's things that happen after. So I want to hear about our journeys after the leap. Okay.
Ooh, absolutely. So what I was gonna say was thank you for that. That's literally what I kind of had to go through. So even part of just preparing for the move and the transition was, what am I going to do for myself? Like, how am I going to get myself together? So I fasted. And, you know, I like drinking. So I took that away. On top of other things that I know that are, you know, that have strongholds on me is what I'm trying to say. Or that could be distracting. I know that I love love, and I love romance, and I love, you know, men, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I know that when I get into a relationship or when I get sucked into something, I lose myself. Yeah. And I care so much about the relationship and what's happening with them, and I don't for myself. Right. So I had to, I had to adjust that. So I fasted, and I stayed, and I stuck to it. And I fasted, you know, for the show and everything. So when I was on my fast, that's when I visited New York, and New York, they have liquor everywhere. Right. Like, liquor is everywhere. Yes. But I was fasting from it. But how I knew I was strong was because I did not have the urge like I thought I would. Well, also what I was doing was I was listening to motivational videos every day. Like every day I made sure that I was meditating and I was listening to a motivational video. And what I realize now is I'm an auditory learner. So I love hearing stuff and I love words, like words that, words of affirmation is my second love language.
Yeah.
So knowing these different things, I put those together. This is what's been helping me. Les Brown has gotten me through, and my mentor put me on Les Brown. So Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, TD Jakes, just different ones every single day. And it's always feeding me about, sacrificing or worshiping, just really focusing on God and letting God be the source and knowing. And when you have that relationship and growing in that relationship, with God, it's like it takes off the pressure that you feel like you're supposed to have on yourself and everything. Right. So it was important that I kept my mind mentally, at a higher source and a higher power that was beyond me, because it couldn't be me. Right. So what I'm saying is, even with doing all that, even with the fasting and everything, all that got me to New York. And when I got here, I was like, I have to keep this, or I have to keep something similar to this. Otherwise, it's going to die out. Like, so the fire of it is going to die out. So I just tried to be intentional about like keeping this fire and this frequency going. So I'm always, once I got here, I was hungry. Yeah. I didn't have a job lined up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, leap of faith was a literal leap of faith. I had some money, right, and I knew I was going to stay, but I did not have a job at all lined up. I didn't even know if my job was going to transfer me over. Yeah. But all I had was faith. That's all I had. And so we're talking about taking these leaps, and I was looking at the Steve Harvey videos and saying there are going to be some bumps. Things are going to hurt sometimes, but you keep going. You stay resilient, and even in what also helps as you are, trying to stay in that mode is having a reminders as to why you're here. Right. So, in this, there are people who sent me birthday, not birthday cards, but just sent me, farewell cards and notes and everything like that. Going back and reflecting and reading that and reading how people believe in you, or getting the text messages of, hey, just checking on you or something, or getting random packages. Yeah. But also knowing that, this is a hustle bustle place. So the reason why people come to New York just to get a reset, because there's so much energy here. You're surrounded by so many people who are doing the exact same thing you did. So many people left corporate jobs to be here. They, yeah, banks and whatever. They're all taking a leap of faith. A lot of people who live in New York are not even New Yorkers. Right. Like, a lot of people came here. So when you're surrounded by that kind of energy, that just keeps you going as well. So, if I'm constantly applying for jobs and I'm focused on what I want to do, I even made a vision board prior to. So even keeping that vision and being mindful, I want to do this. I got to read more. So now, then I'm taking these workshops. I'm finding free workshops, about the business of acting. Yeah. Or, I'm learning how to save money, or I'm just, or like I said, I'm just working. Like, my first year here, I was just working. I didn't really sleep that much, but that was my fault, because I felt like, I'll also say this, I felt like people will put all these things in your mind of what the journey is going to be like based off of what they experience. And sometimes there are people who you admire so much living a certain life, and you have no idea what they're really going through. But because you admire them so much, you're like, well, shoot, if they're making it, I can make it. Or if this is happening, you start to parallel yourself with them. Yeah. But what I also learned is, these people you admire, they're human beings, and they don't have it all together. It looks like they got it together, but they don't. Right. But so having those reminders, making sure that you're setting things up, making sure that you try to keep a steady ritual of meditation or whatever. Like, you have to, because what did happen was I did get lost. Yeah. And I got lost because I got a stable job, and I got a job, and it was just I knew it was temporary, but then it kept saying, oh, you can increase your hours and it's more money. So then you're thinking, well, shoot, yeah, I want more money. So they keep pushing that, knowing that they hired an actress. So I want to perform, but that money sounds good. Right. So I start investing more time in work, and that's a whole nother story. What I'm saying is, I got lost. I stayed at a job that I was at too long, because my intuition was saying, this is not why you're here. There's so much more that you have to do. Yeah. So keeping in mind of that and just staying lined up with your source, your core, and whatever that is, whatever is your foundation. So if it's, family, if it's church, if it's, spirituality, or if it's just really getting to know yourself. I think that's another thing. And then I'll close this part. I learned so much more about myself with the fasting, with the rituals and everything. It's not about religion with God. It's about a relationship. And I got to know God on a totally different level than I ever knew who God was. And it wasn't about all the scriptures that I had to learn. It wasn't about all these different rules that I had to follow in church. It was like, when you're talking about trusting and having faith, that's you can't have faith and doubt at the same time. So you got to constantly move and live in faith. And even if you don't see the next staircase, you got to know that it's there. Just as sure as you know the seat that you're sitting in is going to hold you up, or just as sure as you know that you're going to set your alarm off when you wake up, you got to know that the God or the higher power that you believe in is going to be there for you. And that's what those but I was getting that kind of information every day, because that's what stimulates me. Hearing words and hearing positive words, that's what kept me going. So, if and when you choose to take a leap of faith, know yourself and know the little things that keep you grounded. If it's a conversation, know that drinking ginger tea in the morning, you love that and it gets you going. Like, I'm on that. So yeah.
So perfect segue into what I was going to say about the leap of faith too, is that so you mentioned about keeping the same energy as you did when you first leapt, but you have to choose that leap every day, like because there are gonna be moments where you're like, what am I doing? I'm crazy. Let me go and get this like, your body and your mind wants to be comfortable, and so and I think humans just don't like to be in discomfort anyway. So the creative journey is very much about living in the uncomfortable and always continuously pushing yourself and being okay with being uncomfortable. And so that's the nature of the leap of faith. Like, every day, sometimes you have to choose that I'm going to choose this leap of faith. I decided to leave my 9 to 5 for a reason, to do X, Y, Z, and let me stay focused on what are the action steps that's going to get me to where I want to go, and that's going to keep me in my intention and all that great stuff. But some days it's easier than others. Some days it's like it's I guess I've had moments where I was just really depressive and I didn't have direction, and then so that's why I also want to segue into being lost in detours, because I ended up going back to a 9 to 5, and I struggled with it because I felt like I was selling out on my dream, and I felt like I had lost faith. But the reality of it is, like, that leap of, I think we have many leaps of faith along our journey. Like, technically that wasn't necessarily my first leap of faith. Like, I was moving to New York when I first got started in 2010. Like, I was in the plan. I was applying to teaching jobs, and I went to stay in New York for about 4 or 5 days or so, and I lived with one of my line sisters, and then I guess I also lived with my friend Nicole. So that was a leap of faith, and then my next leap of faith was the universe saying, "Hey, girl, you getting too comfortable in this museum job," and but when I chose to go back to a 9 to 5, it was more so about, let me regroup, because this is not going well, and I could not pick myself back up out of being lost, not knowing what to do. Like, nothing helped. And also, I wasn't as I guess maybe close in my relationship then. Like that was the beginning of me continuing to build my relationship with God. Like now I'm just like, what's that? Okay, cool. But you know, back then it just was a little, you get lost in the drama of the lost stuff. Like no money, the bill collector's calling you, pressure, like, well, what you gonna do? Like, you know, mortgage, you know, like big adult bills, and knowing that I wasn't selling my house, that's not a thing. Like, nope. Or not having gas money, or having $2 to decide, does this go towards groceries or does this go towards you know, gas. You get lost in the drama of those things. So I made a conscious choice to go back to a 9-to-5. And when I did, I was very intentional about that 9-to-5. So I want to say that now in my current process, like, if the things that you take on, once you decide that I'm going to work on being this creative person, it's not necessarily saying don't have a job, don't have income or whatever. It's basically like, keep fighting the dream. And if you find that in your journey things aren't working well, you're going to have to make a big choice. And that big choice is going to be considered the leap of faith. It doesn't have to be a big move. It doesn't have to be like a job change. It could be you strategically career changing, but know that the leap of faith requires releasing something that is not in alignment with who you say you want to be and what you say you want to do. And so now my income choices, my choices in jobs, they're in alignment with who I am as a creative person. And so if that job doesn't feed into or give me better and more experience in my creative journey, then it's not helpful to me. Like me choosing to be like a auto mechanic, for instance, knowing very well that I don't know nothing about being an auto mechanic, and I got to learn a whole new set of rules to be an auto mechanic. Like that's not how that works. Like you take on the things that are still in alignment with your creative skill set or whatever skill set, because it doesn't have to be a creative job where you do a leap of faith. And I'm gonna be really honest. I just journaled like a few weeks ago that I'm still working on embracing the fact that I didn't sell out on my dream by taking a job, and that I didn't waste time in taking a job, because I still continue to work on my dream. But I'm still working on embracing that. And now that I'm like laid off, I have the foundations from that last leap of faith, and now I'm refining it. It's like I'm building on it. It's like, ooh, like the other day I was like, I see the map. I see the map. It's like, now I know what to do to keep me from some of the things that occurred in the drama and the lost parts of it, of my journey, the last time I was unemployed. And I am fiercely working towards my dream. And I just think that we have to stay in alignment with doing things that are in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes. You know what you made me think of? So somebody said, I have this thing now. So, well, okay, a few things. One thing is my mentor always said, new level, new devil. So every time you go up, you feel like you've mastered something. There's another tweak that you're going to have to, apply. Yeah. But just know that you overcame one level of it, and it's just a whole nother level. And honor the lessons, honor the little lessons. Also, bad things are going to happen whether you take that leap of faith or not.
Yes.
Like, bad things are going to happen. Or if you just stay stagnant, bad things are going to happen anyway. Good and bad comes out of that. So why not just actually do what you want to do and accept those challenges that come with that? Because you're going to have challenges being stagnant. Like, there's things that are going to happen. Your heart is going to get broken. You may lose something, whatever the case is. So it's like, we make these choices out of fear.
Yes.
And sometimes you got to be aware of what that fear is. Like, fully take your place there, like the worst thing that could probably happen. And then it's just like, okay, now what? Now that you're aware of it, what you going to do? Right. What kind of life are you going to live?
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah. So this was awesome. We're at 7:24 now.
I
know time went by fast this time, didn't it? but I think so I'm still gonna end it with how I like to, well, not end it, but I'm still gonna ask you my journey question that I ask everybody on Tea Time with Lynn.
Oh,
okay. Question. 3 affirmations, 3 solar power affirmations that are on my t-shirts, right? One of those is I am enough. I have a t-shirt that says rejection is just redirection. And I have keep going, the wins are worth it. Okay. Which affirmation, Carmen, resonates with you the most and why?
Out of your 3 t-shirts?
Yep. Out of those.
Okay. Say them again, because I thought you were going to you were going to ask me something else. Nope. And I started thinking, let me prepare.
Active listening.
I wasn't. Can you read them again? I'm sorry. Can you say them again?
That's okay. That's totally
it's my 88. I don't have it. Never mind. I'm going to be quiet.
That's so funny. Okay. I am enough. Rejection is redirection, or rejection is just redirection, and keep going. The wins are worth it.
I want to say I am enough, because that means a lot, but keep going. The wins are worth it. It really sticks out to me, because there is so much freedom. It's a thrill after you overcome whatever that is. When you overcome something, or when something was really challenging and you actually do it. Yes. Oh my God, it's a feeling, it's a rush like none other. And if you continuously stay in that flow, I promise you're gonna feel the success in it. But we don't. For some reason, sometimes we don't feel like we're worth that. We don't feel like we deserve that rush. But you do. Like, you really, really do. It's in you. So keep going. The wins are worth it. Literally. It's so worth it. Like, you are worthy of every smile and every joy and every twinkle that that comes across your face. Like, you're worth that. So yeah.
I love that, Carmen. Okay, so we normally end this with talking about our treat yourself thing. So number 1, though, since you were here last month, did you do the self-love thing that you said you were going to do last month?
My bath?
Yes, the bath. I remembered it last night, and then I was like, yes, the bath, your lemon balm.
Oh, no, but I did, what I did do was I bought more bath accessories, and I got this thing. I love earrings. So the more you all see me, I'm going to have a different type of earring every time. So I went to the African market and I bought me some gold earrings. They're so cute. And I bought me some pants, some little drummer boy pants. I always wanted some drummer boy, the little hammer pants. So that was my self-care. And it was like, and all of that together was like, $30. Yeah. So I felt good. I felt so happy. I felt so good, because I don't buy things for myself as much. I'm just like, let me save. It's a panorama, but I'm like, I'm just going to treat myself. So every little check, I just buy a little something. Amazon has been a friend of mine too, but that was my self-care.
Awesome. Mine was, I think last month I said that I was going to get my nails done. Okay, so I failed at getting my nails done. I think that's what it was. Oh, it was also like listening to my body, but like giving myself what it needs, because I was dealing with heartbreak. And so yeah, I feel much better from heartbreak. I turned up though, remember, on loving myself extra, and I just felt, I guess, recharged from doing that. So every day it was like, did you love yourself enough today? And it was like, well, what do you want to do? Like, you want to watch a thing, you want to buy a thing or eat a thing, something. So I did that, and I feel much better. I also took 2 walks. I took a walk yesterday, and I took a walk today, and it was amazing. So, yeah. What are you going to do for self-love? What you going to do to treat yourself in the next upcoming weeks?
So one of my coworkers, they've really been trying to speak life into me, into this eating. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to buy some oat milk, and I'm going to start drinking that a little bit more. And I also saw this, like this little greenery mix, like with Brussels sprouts and kale and stuff like that. I saw at Trader Joe's. I want to start eating, eating that, trying different healthy practices of food and not just the same things.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
I love that. And C. Lena says, beautiful ladies. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I haven't read the comments. What are you doing?
Thing. Okay, so I was sharing with Carmen, everybody, that I wanted to get part of my lifestyle. I'm designing my lifestyle right now, and part of that entails me managing my time and my energy better. So one of the things that I have started doing for the past 6 months or so, but I'm not always consistent, is Wednesdays are my self-care day. Like, I desire to have whatever thing that I'm working on, I desire to have a 4-day work week, and I can't. So Wednesday is my off day, and so is Saturday and Sunday. But recently my Wednesdays have become I've just been exhausted and just more so taking care of myself. So they've been less of a fun day and more of a I can't do nothing else but sit down day, and that's not how it was intended to be. So I booked myself a massage tomorrow, darling.
Yay! I love it. Love it.
Yes, I cannot
That's
wait.
Good.
Cannot wait. Yeah.
I cannot wait to hear about it. I know it's going to be bomb. You're going to feel so rejuvenated.
Yes, and they have now the steam rooms and the saunas and the pools are open, and so I have
King Spa.
No, I'm not going to King Spa. Some new spa that I'm trying, and I'm going to pack my swimsuit so that I can take advantage of that before my massage. Because normally after the massage, all I want to do is go home and go to sleep. So, so yeah, so I'm looking forward. I'm excited.
That is amazing. I love it. Oh, now I want to get one. I'm gonna get one. I need that. I need that in my life.
Well, Carmen, it's been amazing having you on Tea Time with Lynn and Carmen. And thanks to everyone that is watching via the live broadcast or on the replay. We hope that you've gotten some amazing things, some good gems out of hearing us talk about our leaps of faith. I hope to see you next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central. Meet me here at the IG Live. So if you don't know me, go ahead and follow me to be sure that you stay up to date. Go ahead and follow Carmen. She will be with every second Tuesdays. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody.
We'll change it.
Huh? You said what?
Nothing.
But yeah, Carmen, anything you want to say before we close it out?
To God be the glory. No, I enjoyed this. This was great. Y'all know we love talking. So, please join us. Join here every Tuesday. We love talking. Engage with us. If you want to share anything, please do. And you can follow me as well. I am Heatwave 1023, and we could talk about why I call myself Heatwave at another episode. That'll be fun. But yeah. That's all. I'll talk for another 10 minutes just because. So I love you all and I appreciate you all. And this is great. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Bye. Have a great week, everybody. Don't forget
Bye.
to